The community of Orrville was located at the intersection of Old Road and Eatherton Road, and is now one of the many communities that is part of the city of Wildwood. The town was founded in the 1800s by brothers John and James Orr, who immigrated to the area from Glasgow, Scotland. In 1858, a post office was constructed, putting the town on the map. It was served mail to the town's residents until 1895, when mail service was switched to the Monarch Post Office. After the Civil War, co-founder John Orr and his second wife, Margaret, began selling off small tracts of land, starting the commercial development of the town. During this time, Conrad Hoppenberg built a general store on 4 acres of land at 526 Eatherton Road that he bought in 1866. It became the largest building in town following the construction of a large addition in 1873. 10 years later, in 1883, Conrad sold the store and its merchandise to Orrville native Phil Fick for $6,500. The town continued to thrive well into the 1940s, growing to a population of 50. Today, the buildings at Orrville, including the general store and school, are private homes. 2 of these buildings, the Hoppenberg Fick store and the Kesselring Werther House at 538 Eatherton Road, are both on the National Register of Historic Places. So this is the church. It was built in 1958. So I would imagine, given how old the cemetery is, there was an older church here before it. So here is the cemetery. There's a mixture of new and old stones, but most of them are newer stones, especially towards the back of it. Still, it has some really cool old stones. I think the oldest I saw was from the mid-1800s. So here's an interesting stone. This one's for Johann and Anna Fick. Fick was a major family out here during the 1800s. This one's all in German. So here's Old Eatherton Road by the cemetery. I'm not sure what the history of the road is, but I would imagine, given its path, it was a predecessor to Highway 109, which is on my right. Now this is really cool. This is an inscription on one of the Fick stones from the early 1900s. This is all German. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before. This is probably the oldest one here. This is from 1886 for a Barbara Redker. Wow. It's so well preserved too, especially the hands on the top. So here's another angle of the cemetery. This is taken from the newer section. The newer section hasn't quite filled out yet, like the older one. So the walk down the Essen Cemetery is probably 15 minutes at most. 15 minutes or a half mile. This is still a vehicle road, so be cautious as you walk down it. Not a lot of people travel on it anymore, but stay on the side of the road like I am in case someone does come down here. On this stretch here, there's no houses, just a couple farm buildings. This is a great spot to take pictures on, especially during the fall. Since there really isn't any vehicle traffic down here anymore, you can spend as much time as you want. Just outside Essen Cemetery is the stone one-lane bridge. It's not very ornate or anything, but once you cross this, you're in Essen Cemetery. The cemetery is just on your right when you cross the bridge. And then Highway 109 is a couple hundred feet in front of you. Here's another angle of the bridge. This is another cool angle of the road that I like to take pictures of. So here's the small Essen Cemetery. The Essens were a major farming family back in the 1800s in the area. And I believe they still live here today. Now this is still an active cemetery. The latest burial was 2 years ago. This is the oldest gravestone. This is from 1858. Though the newer monument says 1856. So there's a discrepancy on when this person died. It says Louis Schott, but this is the Essen Cemetery, so he was either a family friend or a distant ancestor. For how old it is, it's pretty well preserved. All the monuments here are newer except for this one. This one is from the late 1890s. It is for a Rudolf and Eric Essen. Eric was probably his son, given the birth dates. I guess there is a third person buried here. Ellen Essen, probably Rudolph's wife. I didn't see her name when I was looking at it from the other side. So there are 3 people buried for this one stone. Here are the 3 footstones for that one monument. You have Ellen's, Rudolph's, and Eric's, all side by side. I'm not sure if this is the original position, because if it is, they were laid next to each other, which probably would make more sense. Here's another angle of the cemetery. Highway 109 literally runs on the back side of it. My guess is when the cemetery was created, the 109 wasn't there. So I doubt they would create a cemetery so close to a major road. Though of course, the road wasn't as populated as it is today.